Hi there. I'm here today to read you a little excerpt from my new book, The Rooftop Party. I'm not going to read to you from chapter 1. I'm going to skip right to the part where there's an actual rooftop party so you can get to see a little bit about what that's all about. My main character is Dana Barry. She is a host at a fictional shopping channel, sort of a rising star. Problem is, they're having a little bit of financial difficulty at the shopping channel. So she has an idea to save the company. She wants to pitch it to the new CEO at this rooftop party that they're having. Um, he seemed like somebody who was a paragon of virtue when she first met him, but the head buyer at the shopping channel had warned Dana that Ivan Dennison might not be as innocent as he seems. So I think that's all you really need to know for me to jump in. So I'm going to be skipping right to page 44. So and I'm going to read a little bit, then I'm going to go to the end. So I hope you like what you hear from this excerpt. And here goes from the rooftop party. Before returning to the hectic, pulsing noise of the party, Dana took her drink to the north side of the roof, where it was a little quieter. She leaned on the waist-high railing, enjoying the view. The Hudson River looked almost supernatural, like a living black mirror reflecting the lights of the city. A chill wind blew over her, and she took a warming sip of her drink. After a few moments, Dana became aware of a presence next to her and looked up to see Ivan Dennison. "Nice view," he said, his eyes lingering on her for a moment before he gazed out at the George Washington Bridge. It seemed flirtatious, a far cry from the choir boy innocence he affected during business hours, and Dana thought about Eleanor's warning. "Are you enjoying the party?" she asked. "It's nice seeing everyone let their hair down." "I hope you still feel that way after everyone's had a few," she said. "I heard these parties can get a little wild." He nodded, barely listening. "What are you drinking?" "Vodka martini. You?" "Club soda." He held it up. "Cheers." Dana tipped her glass toward his, feeling sure her original suspicions were correct. He was a teetotaler with a hard drinking past. "I like those shoes," he said. "They make a statement." And that statement has nothing to do with you, she thought, and changed the subject to something safer. "Is Mrs. Dennison here?" "Couldn't make it. What about your boyfriend?" She folded her arms. "How did you know I have a boyfriend?" He looked her up and down so thoroughly she wished she'd worn a parka or a yurt. This was no glance. This was a leer. "How could you not?" he said, his eyes lingering on her chest. Now there was no denying it. Eleanor Gratz was right. Ivan Dennison, who looked older than her father, was coming on to her. She would have to play this with finesse, friendly and open, but with a clear message about her unavailability. It was a fine line to walk. "We're going to be moving in together." She made sure the remark sounded pointed. "If he likes you, he should have put a ring on it," Ivan said, grinning with pride. And she supposed he thought he was being cool, quoting a 13-year-old Beyonce song. She noticed that his teeth were as tiny as baby corn kernels. "I can take care of myself, Ivan." She offered a friendly but tight smile. "I bet you can." He took a step closer. "Did I mention my boyfriend's a cop?" She said this as if it were only half a joke. "Should I be scared?" "Not if you behave yourself." "What fun is that?" He advanced, and Dana backed up until she was leaning against the roof railing. He was too close, and a chill of danger swept through her. I think we'd get along better if we kept it strictly business," she said, hoping he would step away. For a moment they locked eyes, and they were so close she could even see the outline of his contact lenses in the gleam of the overhead light. He looked menacing, and Dana's pulse quickened, her fight or flight response triggered. She glanced around to see if there was anybody nearby whose attention she could get. He leaned in. "Don't you like powerful men?" he whispered. "Back off, Ivan." He waited a beat, as if she might change her mind, and then took a step away. "You take things too seriously," he said with a laugh, as if the whole thing were a joke, as if he hadn't meant any of it, as if he hadn't come within an inch of threatening her. In truth, he probably sensed she was about to call for help. "I'm getting a refill," he added. "Can I get you something?" Dana wondered if that meant he would search for another victim. someone more amenable to his advances, or if he'd be coming back for her. I'm fine, she said, indicating her nearly full glass. But as soon as he left, she downed the rest of her drink and then waited until he cleared the bar before getting herself another. She needed to steady her nerves. Now I'm going to skip to a bit toward the end of the party. Toward the end of this chapter, I should say. Dana's been dancing and drinking the entire time. Okay. But Dana was perspiring now and wanted just another sip or two of a drink. She rushed back where she had left the cocktail, meaning the cocktail he had gotten for her, and downed a big gulp before realizing Ivan, that idiot, had ordered a gin martini, which was piney and bitter. Still, it was better than nothing. And the song was playing on, so she had a couple more sips and joined her friend on the dance floor. Within moments, a different kind of dizziness began to overtake her. How strong had that drink been? Dana continued dancing, but her limbs began to float. And when the band started playing Beyonce's All the Single Ladies, she glanced up to see Ivan across the floor, holding up a drink as if toasting her. After that, Dana lost sense of where she was as everything blurred into random images played against a muted, driving beat. It seemed to go on and on and on. She waited for it to end, for the vertigo to clear, as there was something she needed to do, some place she needed to be, though for the life of her, she couldn't remember what it was. The world stopped making any kind of sense. Her body, her brain, everything was strange and disconnected, impossible to track. She seemed to stroll back and forth between here and elsewhere. At one point, a man was standing very close, saying something important, but it was as if she was suspended on a string, swimming through space and unable to reach the earth. Someone grabbed her arm, and she reacted in anger, wrenching it away and saying something. Time collapsed in on herself, and she didn't know if she was back on the dance floor or elsewhere. Then, just like that, it all went black and silent, as if the world had ended, until one sound broke through the haze of her thick trance, a piercing scream. Okay, so I hope that intrigues you and that you want to read more of the Rooftop Party. Thanks so much for watching my video, and bye.